Hello and welcome, guys. Today I'm going to share some very good insight about you know uh, solutioning and solution designing approach. Not only that, what we do as an architect, what are the area I need to work out, what are the things I take care. So in depth I will go. So if I talk about little bit high level overview of what exactly I'm going to explore and explain today. First, I will deep dive into this that how the structure look like of a typical team. Okay, when we architect, which kind of context as an architect comes in, and what kind of support and help it does. And there are very in-depth information I would be sharing specifically on the team size, on the core role and responsibility, on where and when we actually adopt the architectural model. At what scenario we adopt that architectural model also I'll be sharing that insight. Above and beyond, as I mentioned, that what is the team's role and responsibility, what is the function. Okay, when we as an architect, what function, uh, what are the functional responsibility we have, and what are the core responsibility and insight you need to know as a lead developer before you get into solutioning, become a solution architect, and what exactly solution architect does. So in this session, these are the pointers I'm going to cover. Hope this is going to help you guys. Let's get started. So first, we or I wanted to start with a picture for you that how exactly this all started. What is the typical, there are so many ideas I have. Okay, I will share in this will be an entire playlist. In this playlist I will be sharing the key insight of what exactly a solution designer does. Okay, so first let's get started that at when you will become solution architect, and what are the basic requirement for in market in order for you to become solution designer or solution architect. Both are different, by the way. Okay, when you say architect and designer, it's little bit different. I will share that the diagram, what are the core responsibility comes in. So we will explore that part, but first we need to understand what is solution designing, and is it only applicable for one particular set of genres of technology. For example, I work with automation, so is it only in automation required? So my answer is no. So solution design applicable to all the various tech stack, whatever and wherever you work. Not only tech stack, even in functional requirement. For example, any kind of transformation, there also we need to have solution designer in place who design this solution. So typically, if I say in a very high level, okay, again, I'm touching directly on solution designing part rather than covering other role and responsibility. Why I should also cover those aspects is that the reason is because solution designer does not, what is the background, how you become, then you will be able to understand what are the various role and responsibility should have exposure. Not even work, that's different part. If you have exposure, you know what are the role and responsibility solution designer plays, then you will be able to uh, understand the role and responsibility and deliver it really well. So let's get started. First is solution designing. So typically, core skills, what I felt, and as per my experience I'm sharing that for a solution designer it is critical to have functional knowledge. Okay, functional plus you have to be also technical. You have to both, you have to have functional knowledge, you have to have technical knowledge in order to become a solution designer or solution architect. I will talk about, okay, I am using both the terms vice versa, but I will clarify that also when exactly what is the core difference between them. Okay, so it's nothing but it's a terminology they use. Vice versa, in one organization you would be called as solution designer, in other organization you could be called as solution architect. So no need to worry. I will share that entire stack details so that you will be able to relate. First, how we become solution designer or solution architect. So first, prior to that, you need to understand what is the typical structure of a team we work with. Okay, what is the typical structure of a team in general we work? Okay, so a typical structure, you can see, first of all, these structures are, if I say this structure, whatever structure I'm talking about, these structures are different. Understand this point. This is not same for all the organization. It is different for one organization to another organization. Now, why? Now you may be thinking why. The reason is, for every organization, the implementation approach, the workflow, these are different. Okay, that's why in a software development organization or product based organization, the structure of a team is different because their needs are different, their targets and goals are different. That's why it is different. So first we need to understand that structure. In general, in a typical, okay, whenever you work in a software development task, see, when we call a software development, again I can drill down in this point. So software development is nothing but whenever you are creating a particular product, okay, which is in system, which other people, which could be scalable, okay, which could be scalable. It could be as simple as some kind of calculation portal. It could be as simple as collecting some information. Doesn't matter, it's a software when other people can use, when it can be scalable, when you can host it, when it saves some data. It is a software, you can call as a software. So if your company is doing as low as that kind of work, that is also you can treat as a software in a small scale. And large scales, we all know there are automation we do, there are cloud implementation we do, machine learning, data science model, business intelligence model we apply. These also, whenever the output we generate, that also, when we consume that, when we create it, those are also nothing but a software. Business intelligence software, when you develop, it gives you the output. So there are two things, okay, in software. One is either you are a consumer or either you are a creator. Okay, so okay, you need to have that clarity. Either you are a consumer or you are a creator. So in consumer, you cannot call that as a software development because you are consuming it. Okay, but if you are consuming any application software and creating something else, that is also possible, correct? That you are consuming something and with that, with X application, you are consuming that application, you are consuming that, but you are creating Y product. Do you understand my point? So for example, I'm using Power BI, but I am creating a dashboard. Okay, so now what happened? Now you can relate this both. Now still you are a consumer, but you are creating a product. Then you can call, whenever you create this product, that is nothing sort of a output, and that we can call as a either application, or either it's a portal, or it is a flow, workflow, anything it would be, that you can call as a software. Keep this in mind. This is the very normal difference. You no need to be or very critical differences. Okay, it should not be always that you are creating something your own. You could be a consumer of a tool, but you are creating some other product, that also called as a software. That also comes under software development. Now, why I share this all insight and input? Okay, so let me share some more input. Now, when you work in a software development field, okay, when we work in a, let's say, okay, when we work in the field of software development, what are the key things you need to keep in mind? First of all, a typical software developer, okay, need to have insight of that particular domain. Whichever domain you are working, you need to understand the domain or business, whatever you call. So first criteria is you need to understand the domain / business. This is the first criteria. Second criteria, in general, you need to have an idea of process, or I can also say process, or I can say workflow. Okay, multiple processes, and what is their workflow? What is the when we call as a workflow, what is the upstream? What is the downstream? What is the upstream, from where we are getting it, what to to whom it is being delivered? That clarity we need to have, upstream to downstream. Okay, so that is second activity. Third point I wanted to highlight here is that you need to have an insight of the tools plus technology. Okay, I can elaborate in detail why I am saying it is a tools and technology. What is the ask for tools and technology here? So when you are working in a software development field, you consume multiple tools, be it a programming, be it a third-party tool as I mentioned, or be it a low-code solution. Okay, so you use tools, and when I say technology, you integrate multiple things. In tools, I would like to give some example. Tools is nothing but, let's say you are using some IDE, okay, to develop the solution, or either you are using any low code approach, you are using any low code tools, that also comes under tools. You're using, let's say, you are using, what else could be coming? Programming is also nothing sort of tools only. Okay, programming is nothing sort of tools only, because based on that we create some applications, some product, correct, viable product. That's why we can call this also as a tool. What else comes under tool? What are other? So whatever enables a developer to create a product, create an tangible output which other people can consume, utilize, or other people can also, it can be scalable. Those all in like supportive input we can stack as a tool. So as of now, I can think of these IDE, low code, programming. It could be anything else. Okay, because in low code, like for example, every life cycle we are using certain things that already cover into low code solution. IDE is for coding, programming also comes under this. So these are classification as a tool. Now what is technology? Now wait, what is technology? Now technology is nothing but, if I have to simplify, so see today, so that, okay, what is technology? Nothing which is making our life easier, creating new product through which we are, if I simplified, making our life easier. Okay, that is the objective of technology. Now how do we do that? This is very generic term, I'm coining it right now, that improving the life, correct. Now how do we do that, and where do we see? Everywhere I am seeing it, correct. Even this particular pen I'm writing, this is nothing sort of a technology, correct. This output is a tool, correct. It became as a tool, but in the back end there is a technology. There are like pad I'm using, and on top of that particular writing pad I'm using a pen which has magnetic nib. So that's how I'm writing it, correct. So this is nothing, a combination of things, combination of tools, then it becomes technology, correct. So that I mean to say, so technology could be the best example I given. Okay, other than that, when I say, for example, a bike today, okay, so it's a combination of technology. It is combination of engineering, one stream. It is combination of physics. It is combination of I will say, now it is also electronics are there in a bike even. And if you say it also has electronic, it has also softwares now. So this embedding everything, we call that stack as a technology. So we can call that, technology is nothing, using engineering, using science, using, let's say, software, using I can say using software, using hardware. So all this combining, we can call that as a technology. So these two things, a solution designer or solution development person should know. Wherever, in whichever domain he's working, associated to that domain, he need to have an idea of all the tools which can be applied. He need to have an idea of all the technology stack which can be applied. I hope it's clear now that how it is all related, guys. Okay. Now moving to the next part. Moving to the next part. Now, apart from this, what are the other information would be required? Now, so now I know the tool and technology. Another is, which is very, very important, is you know, you know, designing a flow. Very, very important. How a solution will work. Okay, so I'll say designing flow. Very, very important. I need to have an approach of designing a flow. How do we design information? How do we design information? So I need to have an idea. So for example, I know a particular process. Okay. So in that process, there are certain steps are there. And I wanted to optimize a particular step. Then what I need to know as a solution designer, I need to see if I can optimize this particular step, what tools I can use, what technology I can use. Then I can, based on my experience, either I validate it, I test it, I create a POC. Then once it is validated, I confirm, I put a stamp that, after doing this, these are the 4 ways we can do it. And in order to do that, these are the tools required, these are the technology required to deliver it. So this is called that, there is a particular process, and that process we study, and then we optimize that particular process. This particular approach you need to have a clarity on in order to become a solution developer or solution designer or solution, I will say, architect. And this applies to any field you work on. You work on, let's say, automation, you work on cloud, data science, you work on business intelligence, you work on even in process transformation, okay, and digitizing processes. Whatever you create, a smallest to smallest solution, you need to have this framework in place in order to understand the stack, apply that, and improve overall. Okay, so this is the designing flow. What else? So these are, as of now, there is one more technical part I will highlight. So I will highlight what are the things are technical here, what are the things are non-technical also. Okay, so designing flow information, or you need to have a clarity. Another point is why a person should, or a solution designer or architect should know the designing flow, because solution designer first validate it, have that idea, knowledge, create that flow, then that feedback goes to the developer team or whoever will be developing it. So this person should communicate this particular requirement in a technical way. Okay, technical communication, I will say. Okay, which compliant to functional requirement. What does it mean? So the solution designer should be able to communicate the technical information, technical communication, and covering the functional requirement in details. What does that mean? I need to optimize this particular process. I capture the information. I need to communicate that to my, I will say, I need to communicate that to my product owner. I need to communicate that to my developer. I need to communicate that to my tester. So these all activity I have to perform. I have to do, and when I can only do this, when I have that clarity, and I can communicate this information clearly to my team, then only I will be able to I will rather say perfectly communicate and justify the requirement to them. That's where this comes into picture, which is technical communication. So I will highlight, okay, so what are first of all technical things here? So domain business is non-technical, okay, non-technical. Process and workflow is non-technical. Tools and technology is technical. Designing and a flow is technical. Technical communication is technical. Okay, when we communicate, it's technical. Now there are certain functional work are there. Now other functional work like what? Managing the team, or communication, or not only team, I will rather say communicating to developers. So communicating, guiding, mentoring to developer. Okay, communicating, I will say guiding, mentoring, all this activity you need to perform, and this is non-technical. This is non-technical. Okay, see, the approach is non-technical. When you communicate or when you guide them, it is maybe the support you need to have, a technical insight you need to follow. So it's you can say partial also, there is no problem. Okay, apart from that, you need to communicate, and here not only developer, as I mentioned, tester, product owner, whoever it is. Then other activity is to, once the product is developed, I'm just following a life cycle, and all information I'm sharing as per the life cycle. Then once this is done, then what you need to do, or as a software developer or solution designer, I need to make sure that it complies the requirement. Okay, so it fulfill the requirement in a simplest term. So it should, okay, fulfill the requirement. It should comply in the requirement. Whatever customer is asking, it should comply. That has to be validated. That has to be cross-checked whether this complies to the requirement or not. This is very, very critical and important. Okay. After it is done, the final things is, I will rather say, testing it. In testing only we check whether it is compliant or not. Once it is testing is done, then at the final stage we need to deploy the product. So, and this is testing is also technical, deploy product is also technical. So these are the, you can now relate what are the non-technical stuff are there, what are the technical stuff are there, easily and clearly you will be able to relate. So these are the insight and understanding, knowledge you need to have preliminary at the basics level of understanding in order to start your career or follow the approach of solution designing and developing any kind of product. I hope it helps, and in the next session we will share more insight about solutioning in depth.